If you had told me this time last year that I was gonna be in my own studio filming 2 years of having a business, I probably wouldn't have believed you. Yeah, my business has passed the 2 years mark. It passed the 2 year mark at the beginning of September, but because I was moving out, I just didn't have the time. I've been very, very busy. I think it's really nice to do this every single year. It really allows me the chance to kind of give you guys the full breakdown of growing a business and the complete truth behind what I'm doing, how I'm feeling. And I don't always get to show that in the vlogs, so I think it's really important share this milestone with you all and to talk about the things that have happened in this past year. So let's talk a little bit about last year. My first year of having a business was extremely hard in the sense of it was just a lot of hard work, a lot of learning. I feel like I don't learn as much now as what I did back then because I've already learned most of the stuff that I needed to learn. Obviously, there's still a lot of growing left to be done, but the first year was crazy. Like, I can't remember a single day that I didn't work. It was insane. I had no idea what I was doing, and there's some days I still feel like I don't really know what I'm doing. I made lots of mistakes. It was a lot of trial and error with both social media and also my Etsy shop because I was trying to grow on both. I did literally everything I could think of in my first year, from trying out wholesale to doing Printify and print on demand products. I was trying out a bunch of different market stalls. I was trying out a bunch of tactics on Etsy. I was even trying to find other websites that weren't Etsy but similar to Etsy that I could sell on. That didn't work out very well. I was trying to learn how to grow on social media. There was just a lot going on. I even got a business loan in my first year. But honestly, now that I'm sitting here 2 years later, or well, a year later, I'm looking back and I'm kind of like, I did so much, but at the same time, I feel like I did it all so wrong. I feel like I really rushed the first year, and I can really see that now. It's only recently that I've really started to realize how much I was forcing myself to do literally everything and anything. I just wanted something to work and give me like really quick results, which isn't how a business works. I really wanted to find the one thing that would like blow up my business instantly, and it took me an entire year to realize it's not really how businesses work. If you guys want to know more about my first year of having a business, then I will link it in one of the corners. So we talked a little bit about the first year, about what I was doing in the first year now, and now I want to talk a little bit about the second year. This year has been very different from my first year in a lot of ways, both good and bad. In my first year, I feel like I grew so much more for some reason. I don't know, it's weird. I just look back and I'm like, I think I did grow quite a lot on social media, and I grew a lot in Etsy and stuff like that as well. This second year, or at least the last couple of months, I'd say the last 4 to 5 months, I've really not seen much growth at all. I feel like in the first year the growth was more noticeable. I feel like lately the growth has been a bit more subtle. So at the start of the second year, I don't really think many things changed. I started doing proper launches, which I hadn't previously done before. Beforehand, I was just kind of uploading products to Etsy whenever I had the chance. And it wasn't until my 1 year anniversary that I started doing launches, and that was a lot better for me personally. Weirdly enough, to talk about my last year of having a business, I've actually got to start from like this month, September. I have to start here because I really want to talk about a big revelation I've had recently. So as you guys know, I moved. That was a very big thing that happened for my business this year, was moving out. I have my own home studio now, and I feel just so much better and ready to tackle my small business and to get my small business growing. Working out of a bedroom was really rough in my first year of having a business. It really sucked because it got to the point where I couldn't relax in the nighttime and I couldn't sleep very well because my sleeping space was also my workspace, but then also I couldn't work very well during the day because my workspace was also the space where I tried to relax. And I've noticed since having this studio that I'm able to fall asleep a lot easier and quicker, and I'm also able to focus on work when I'm in here much better. So this studio and moving out has actually really helped already, and moving out kind of completely put my business on halt for at least 2 months, I'd say. Before that, my business was going a little slower because, like I said, I was like looking for a house, I was thinking about moving, but I was still able to like be on Etsy quite a lot, be active on Etsy, be active on YouTube. But the last 2 months, September and August, I have really, really been falling behind. Not just with, not being very active on Etsy, but also with my social media and stuff. However, the reason that I'm starting this video at the end of the second year is because I think that was the best thing that could have ever happened to my business. The second year was quite good at the start. Going from my first year to my second year, I feel like I was seeing a lot of growth. I was getting so many more orders. I really, really thought that was it. Like, this was gonna be where I start getting big, and where like, not like big, I didn't expect to like be a medium-sized business or anything by this time, but I was like, okay, the ball is rolling now. I feel a lot of changes, a lot of growth, especially in January and February time. I was kind of like, oh my God, it's happening. I'm growing a business. Like, it's actually getting somewhere. I'm getting a decent amount of money from my business now. And then I couldn't tell you what happened, but I'd say April, May time rolled around, and all of a sudden, I stopped getting as many views on social media posts. I stopped getting as many orders. I kind of felt a bit down about it, and I definitely let myself be affected by it. Looking back, I kind of panicked a little bit. I was kind of like, oh my God, what do I do? Why is this happening? Like, I kind of, for some reason, forgot that having a business, the graph to growing a business is not a straight line upwards. It will go up, and then it will go down, and then it'll come up again, and then it'll go down again. Like, that is just having a business. But for some reason, I think I got so caught up in the fact I was doing so well that I ended up panicking a little bit, and I almost felt detached from my business in a way, because I felt like I was failing again after doing so well. It's kind of like getting a taste of, what could be, and then having it taken away. I don't know, that's just kind of how it felt at the time. And then in June, we started looking to move out, and then in July, we signed a contract to move into a new house. So my business got put on the back burner for a little bit, and I was a little worried about it, because I was like, oh no, I've already, been losing views and, not doing so well on like social media, but also not doing so well on Etsy. And now I'm going to have to take time away to move out. I was so stressed about it. I felt like I was panicked. I was so panicked about it. For some reason in my head, I'd convinced myself that if I took a little step back from my business, that was it. I failed and I had to give up on it. And my social medias did struggle a bit because of it, and my Etsy orders did go down quite a lot because of that, because I wasn't able to focus on my business during the move. However, it was actually the best thing I think that could have happened to my business. For the first time in 2 years, I have been forced to take a step back from my business, and I have been forced to look at it from a different angle, which I never did before. I always kind of thought that I was very realistic about my business, and I think I kind of convinced myself that I knew what the problem was with like growing, and like how what I needed to do to grow faster. Stepping away, I've been able to look at my products with like fresh eyes, and I've been able to identify products that aren't selling that well, and I've, for the first time, been able to see why they're not selling well, why maybe I'm not growing as well as I could be. I always told people that I didn't need a step back from my business, like I didn't need a break, that I was fine. But when I got forced to take a step back from my business, I've kind of come back with like a fresh perspective. For the first time since like March, I'm starting to feel a little bit more hopeful again. And that's the reason why I'm starting this at the end of the second year, because the end of the second year has completely changed my entire view of my business. The most drastic and biggest changes that I've made this year was actually doing nothing. It was stepping back from my business. So at the beginning of the second year, I realized market stalls weren't really doing it for me anymore. I realized I could be doing a lot better. So I stopped doing market stalls and I started doing conventions. And I did my first convention in March this year, and it was really great. It went amazing. I made more money than I've ever made at any market stall, and I was just over the moon about it. I was really excited to continue doing conventions, and then I did my second convention of the year in July, and it went terribly. I definitely lost money. It was not a great experience. But again, because in July I was already having all these panicked thoughts of like, oh my god, my business isn't doing well, I don't know why, everything seems to be going downhill. That convention was honestly heartbreaking for me. I was just devastated. It felt like nothing was going right and it sucked. I panicked and I started just making anything and everything. Like, I wasn't thinking about the products that I was putting out anymore. I wasn't thinking about who I was catering to. I kind of, in the first year, I did so much research into things like target audiences and designing stuff, and in the second year I kind of just forgot about all of that and I started just doing whatever. I started designing whatever I felt like, but it kind of felt nice in a way, but at the same time not really a good business plan. For example, my tumblers. I started making skinny tumblers and they haven't really been doing that well for me, but I was so focused on doing things like mugs and tumblers, and it's because I was panicking, because I wanted something to sell well. I just kind of tried to do a bit of everything. I'm supposed to be a stationery shop, and I feel like a lot of my products right now are like things like mugs and tumblers. But stepping back from my business has made me realize, like, I don't actually have that much stationery on my shop, or at least not as much as I'd like to. I started making designs that I wasn't that proud of. I started just trying everything to get back on track, and it just kind of made everything worse. Kind of stopped thinking about what I was doing and just trying to do everything, which is not good. Now that I've stepped back from my business, I have been able to identify a lot of things that I previously was very blind to. For example, a lot of my products aren't exactly what I want on my shop. They're a bit all over the place. I feel like a lot of my products, when I really think about it, I think they're okay, and that's it. I just think they're okay, which is not what I want for my business. I feel like I'm constantly rushing to get things done all the time, rather than stepping back and thinking about why a sticker sheet would do well, or like what kind of designs could I do that you wouldn't find everywhere else. Another thing I really struggled with this year was trying to get into events. I just couldn't seem to find any conventions or markets that I wanted to be in that would also accept me. It felt like the ones that I wanted to be in were too out of my reach, and I kept getting applications rejected. And the market stalls that were like, oh, we'll accept you, you can sell here, were the ones that were really small, and I just knew I wouldn't do very well there, and I didn't really want to spend an entire day on an event that I just didn't think I would sell that much at. And I realised that I've really confined myself to the northeast of England, which is where I live, for conventions and market stalls. So another thing that I did this year was that I got a car. So yeah, my plan is to start doing events and conventions that are further around the country. But that was another thing that I realized was a massive pain point for my business, was that I was doing events or I was only able to do events that maybe just weren't the best. I don't want to say a waste of time, but for me, yeah, kind of. Because I wasn't doing very well at them. Being able to travel and go further afield for markets and conventions will really help my business to grow. It will get my name out there a little bit more, but also it would be nice to do events where I'm making more than just £100, which has been kind of the case with my past convention, and it was the case with my market stalls as well. I've only had one market stall and one convention where I made enough profit that I was happy with it. So that was another thing I realized. Honestly, my plan for next year, I kind of want to change my business around, like, almost completely. I don't really want to rebrand in terms of like my name or my color scheme or anything, but I want to completely change my business in the sense that I want to start being as invested as I was in the first year. Not that I haven't cared or anything, I have cared, but I think that's almost the problem, is that I've cared too much and I've panicked about it. I kind of want to use this new studio as a new starting point for my business. I want to start making products that I actually feel really proud of and that are different from everyone else's, and I want to start going further afield for markets and conventions. I want to create videos that are a little bit more exciting than what they have been. So in terms of like the products that I'm going to be making and what I'm going to be focused on next year, it's going to be completely different from what I've been doing these past 2 years. For example, sticker sheets are a big thing. I want to start focusing on sticker sheets a bit more. Actual stationery products, I'm gonna move away from doing tumblers especially. They just don't do very well for me. I don't know why, whatever that reason may be. They've never done that well. Which sucks because I invested a lot in a heat press, but they've just never really sold that well. One of my big focuses for next year is actually going to be focusing on text-based designs because I realized a lot of my designs are just like a chicken. That's it. It's just like a hen, or it's just, they're not that interesting to look at. And it's not me trying to like be down about myself or my business at all. It's just me acknowledging that while these products are cute, they could be a lot better. For example, my Cat Grim Reaper, he was one of the first designs that I ever did, and he's also one of my most popular because he's an interesting concept. I think a lot of my designs have been very basic. It's if I'm not going to be doing text-based designs, I want to be doing designs that are very interactive, I guess. Like, rather than just having a frog, have the frog doing something and doing something interesting. This is one of the big things that I realized coming back from my business and like pulling away from it was like that my designs, while they're cute, they're just not where they should be at this point. They could be a lot better. This past year has been so slow for me, and honestly, at first I was upset about it, but I think it was for the best. I've not felt this motivated or this excited for my business in like half a year at this point, like 6 whole months. I've kind of been able to see things that I didn't before. And this studio as well, maybe it is the new studio, but ever since I've started working in this little room and having a dedicated space for my business, it's like my eyes are opened. That's kind of what it feels like. I've spent the past 2 years like rushing things and forcing things to happen with my business. And weirdly, for the first time in like a long time, I felt quite calm about it all. I felt like it's gonna be okay now, which is weird. I guess beforehand I just was always so panicked and I was always so stressed and tense about it, whereas now I'm kind of just a little bit more relaxed now that I've been able to step back from everything and focus on moving house. It's actually done me the world of good. It's really weird because when I started planning this video, I really wanted to talk about everything that I did in my first year, and I kind of realized I haven't done a whole lot. The first year of having a business, I was doing so much. My second year, not so much. I've only done 1 launch this year. That probably tells you all you need to know. This year, I didn't do as much, but I feel like I've been on like more of an emotional roller coaster this year. I'm really excited to see what happens in the 3rd year of having a business, because I've heard that after 3 years, you're no longer considered as a new startup business. You are actually just a small business at that point. Whereas right now, I'm still considered a new small business. So I'm really excited to see what happens. While not a lot has happened this year, I'd say bigger things have happened this year, like a car for a start and moving house and getting my own studio. So it's been less stuff, but bigger stuff. Whereas the first year was just a lot of small things happening and not working and trial and error. Honestly, I kind of almost didn't make this video because I was like, I don't really know what there is to talk about because I haven't done much. I've done 1 launch, 2 conventions, and got a studio. But I realized that this year was probably better for me than the first year in terms of like growth and mindset. I've always felt excited and hopeful for my business, but I feel like ready now. So yeah, I know this video hasn't exactly been my entire journey for the 2nd year, but I just couldn't think of anything big that happened. I really just kind of wanted to talk about how I'm feeling towards my business because I haven't been completely honest and I haven't had the chance to talk about it, about how I'm really feeling about it, how much I've really struggled this year, how my business was on an incline and then went and dropped, and it was a horrible feeling, and I just didn't know what to do with it. I'm slowly starting to get a couple more orders on Etsy now. I think I've been working on designs, like product designs, sticker sheets, washi tape, and all that good stuff, and I'm loving the designs. I've probably never been this happy about the designs that I've done in any launch so far for my business. I really like making these videos solely because I just want you guys to know what it's like having a business and what I feel when I'm growing a business and how I've changed throughout the years. This year hasn't been as good as I thought it would. If I'm being completely honest, I was expecting to get close to 10,000 subscribers this year, and I'm not even at 5,000. I'm close, but not quite. I expected to be getting at least 10 orders a week or a day even. That was one of my goals, and I haven't achieved that either. I feel like this year has been full of disappointments in a way, which sounds really sad, but at the same time, it was kind of like a massive slap in the face that I needed to kind of make the changes I need to fix things a little bit. I'm really excited for this next year. Despite everything that's happened this year, I'm so excited. I've got my own studio now. I've got designs. I've got a huge launch coming up in November with designs that I'm so excited to share with you guys, and I feel calmer about it all. In terms of how much I've made, I'm not going to share accurate numbers because I don't actually know, but I'll say this. I'm still not making profits. Not really. A little bit. Not really. In terms of numbers, like I said, because I've been so distant from my business and because I've been panicked, I haven't really been keeping up with that stuff, and it sucked. It's not been good. It's not been the best year for my business. However, I think it was a much needed year for my business. I think this is going to be a very big turning point, and I feel very excited and really ready to tackle the third year. If you guys like this video, then subscribe to follow me along on my small business journey. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!